Why, hello there, and welcome to another exciting episode of RollForDamage. This time we will be continuing our Vampire the Requiem campaign. This campaign almost didn't get continued, but due to popular demand and much of my own soul searching and being really invested in these characters, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna kill him.
It's like when you're at the arcade in the 80s and you find that last quarter to save Ryu Hayabusa in Ninja Gaiden.
Anywho, okay, joining me, of course, is Mr. Henry playing Lucia.
Hello.
I have Mr. Dominic playing the naive country bumpkin, Trent.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello.
And of course, I have Mr. Russell join me playing Mr. Charles, the man Tybalt.
The man.
The man.
Shaft!
Nothing more, nothing less.
But I did kind of have a request from us. One of our viewers wanted to know what the characters look like because I guess he and or she, I don't know who this person was, wanted to draw fan art of the characters. Because as they said in their own words, these characters just sounded awesome, and they wanted to draw them. So if you want to give a little description of your characters, I'll start with Henry first.
So, just like describe Lucia or what?
Or what?
Well, I'm no artist. I can't draw, but I can like describe.
Yeah, exactly. Describe what she's wearing right now.
All right, Lucia stands at about 5'7", and she has she looks like she would be of European descent. She's got long black hair and crimson red eyes, probably as a result of either being an Ordo Dracul or the vampirism changing the pigment through predator taint. But she's really unassuming. Other than that, she has abnormally pasty skin from normal life, and she's kind of thin. Doesn't really have much of anything on her. If you were thinking like bust size, she'd probably be like a B cup at most. And she dresses in practical clothing, which basically consists of jeans, a normal t-shirt, and a leather jacket, which basically has a small strap which holds her forensics kit on the inside. So if she ever needs to like pull it out and dust off like artifacts or anything like that, examine tiny writing, cipher code, she has tools right there. That's pretty much it.
A distinct
right.
lack of high heels.
Yeah, she does not wear high. She's practical, not impractical.
High heels can be practical.
Not in my head.
No, they can't. Never. And I just cussed as all our female audience.
Who only require high heels. Just
Anywho, all right, Russell.
Sorry, descriptions.
Yeah, it's not so easy now, isn't it?
It's not so easy. Okay, I suppose Mr. Charles Tybalt, I'm going to start off with the same thing Mr. Henry did. Charles Tybalt probably stands shorter, just because I don't see a lot of short people. Just slightly under average height, and
Just to mix it up.
He's short. The whole point of Charles
He's 4'2", and he's not a 4.
The whole point of Mr. Tybalt's apparel is mutability and changing according to the current group that he has to be among. So when he is standing amongst, the lowly gathering information, streetier types, he can, change layers, change hair a bit, switch around how he particularly is wearing a coat or shoes, something like that, to appear more urbane. And then when in more high-class society, affix a blazer or something, or he probably disdained to call it makeup, but he probably has some sort of kit that allows him to apply fake scars, or I don't know.
A disguise kit.
That sounds far less girly. Something of that nature. Generally a faded appearance, just because of the fact that dead people don't have very bright skin or hair.
All
That's
right.
all I can
Anything
think of.
else?
He's wearing high heels.
All right, Mr. Trenton.
Yeah,
Fucking
excellent.
weirdo transvestite.
He needs them to be taller.
Not an executive one.
No. Anywho, Mr.
Yeah,
Trenton.
so Trent Maddox is just a dirty white boy. Enough said.
Enough said.
No, he's he's about 6'1", brown eyes, dirty blonde hair. His hair is actually more like dog fur, and which goes along with his more canine mannerisms. And he actually just wears pretty run-of-the-mill cowboy attire, being Carhartt jacket, jeans, cowboy boots, and of course his old black rancher cowboy hat.
Oh, yeah.
And that's about it.
All right then. That's the description in case anybody was curious about these characters. I know a few people have asked. So that has been addressed and assigned, yes. Next order of business, how do we kill Superman?
Kryptonite poisoning.
No, in all seriousness now, we're going to go into our recap of what happened in the last session. I'll be starting with Mr. Russell, because I think he's had the most experience with
Because I could
this
do the
particular
editing.
session.
Okay.
Yes. Anywho.
Let's see. The characters started out in two different groups last session. Mrs. Cole was just arriving at the entrance to the house of a Pandora, whereas Mr. Tybalt and Mr. Maddox were at the Tybalt apartment after Maddox just finished eating a Bruja member. I'll leave Miss Cole to talk about her thing in her recap, but Tybalt and Maddox, after discussing what each saw from various sources, be they Diablerization or just other places, that there was a graveyard perhaps nearby with the number 7 being of import. Both decided that it was an important issue to investigate. There was discussion for a little while about what to do with the crispified body of the person that is Diablerized and the body of the matriarch, which is they are still kind of holding on to, which is currently just kind of a meat body. There's no soul attached to it.
Meat body.
They decided to head out to go to this graveyard. They tried to Tybalt tried to call somebody for weapons, couldn't get any. Found out the streets were all hectic-y. They went outside, and they were driving by the Reds bar, and all hell broke loose there. Tybalt got out of the car to try to get reinforcements. Maddox drove around the block a little while and saw some things, some NAM flashback-style things. Tybalt came back after having a brief discussion with a couple of communist goons that got in the car, and we drove to a graveyard. We hopped the fence multiple times in this graveyard, found the thing that we had seen in visions, a mausoleum with the number 7 on it, went downstairs. There were things downstairs, things hooked up to pipes and tubing, and an old man as well. And then we interrogated that old man, and then we left. And I left it vague so that other people would have things to talk about.
All right. Henry.
Yes. Okay. In her case, she arrived at Pandora's place with her ghoul Dana, and kind of had like one of those mental square downs with her, like never trusting anything that she did. Pandora talked about ponies in some of her weird, crazy backwards speak, and Lucia kind of had to try and decipher that to make sure Dana didn't get freaked out. But apparently Pandora has like some sort of weird sleepy power that Lucia resisted the first time and took a swing at her because she's still pretty much on fire at the moment. But that didn't last very long since, pretty soon Lucia fell asleep anyway. And when she woke up, she was alone. Dana was there watching news. They covered the fact that the entire city had been covered in like this weird black shell bubble, but they were denying it. And Uh, Suddenly there was a knock on the door. Lucia checked. There was no one there. So she told Dana to go hide. And while Dana was hiding, oops, who is it? None other than Lucia's mentor and sire, Celine Magus. They talked for a while. Celine Magus, kind of talked down to her the entire time. And they agreed to meet 1 hour later at Pandora's Club. At that moment, after she left, Lucia took the time to explain the situation without revealing too much information to Dana, told her to be careful, and left. She went to Walmart, she stole some road flares and some wooden stakes, and have hidden them in their jacket, and sneaked inside the club. And that's where... And
Very good.
That's what Lucia did.
That, as they say, is the rest of the story.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah,
Trenton.
so Russell covered most of it, but I'll just add that from Trent's perspective, it began with a lot of chair breaking at Tybalt's apartment to arm himself with many stakes, wooden stakes, and then there was also, as Russell indicated, a riot outside of the Reds bar, and
That person
that
threw a chair.
and during that riot, when Trent was pulling the car around waiting for Tybalt, he witnessed somebody being rendered limb from limb by a lupine, and actually lost some humanity in the process because he didn't really react. He's just kind of in the heat of the moment was just like trying to find Charles and get out of there, and basically let it sort of roll off his shoulder to affect his morality in the long run. But eventually Charles and Trent and Oswald and Shin, who were the other two guys that joined them to the graveyard, got to the graveyard, and they found a secret door in the mausoleum that had the letter 7 carved on the front of it. And down below, they met Professor Johann, who was conducting experiments with lupine blood and concocting some kind of mixture. And I don't know, Russell, you can chime in if you remember some of the specifics of that conversation.
What we had, I was going to say what we had determined from the good doctor was that he was being funded by by two different groups, including an Invictus in town, who his name escapes me, Maxwell something, and that this was basically where the sources for Synthicell was coming from. The blood of lupines was allowing the vitae of blood to stay preserved for months instead of hours. And
Maxwell Wilson.
Maxwell Wilson, I believe, something like that. Yes, the Invictus man in town.
Yeah, go ahead.
We tried to garner information as to where some of the other facilities were. Could not. He's been down there a while. We learned something else of something of import. What was it?
Was it the fact that also wasn't Nikolai LeBlanc involved with
Was he the one providing the lupines?
I don't know if we found that out.
Me?
I don't know if we found that out specifically, but
also, Lucia, we didn't pick up.
I could tell you something out of character, but I won't, because it's something you would know in character, but you've forgotten out of character. So that's what makes it awesome.
I wouldn't need to worry about that because I've got eidetic memory, so I would just need to make a roll and you could tell me.
Silence.
Also, that reminds me. Henry did call, or Lucia did call, but did not pick up. Or
Oh, yeah, indeed.
yeah.
Oh, right. That's right.
You could tell me.
Silence.
Also, that reminds me. Henry did call, or Lucia did call, but did not pick up. Or
Oh, yeah, indeed.
yeah,
Oh, right. That's right.
because we were stealthing it. There was only an old doctor there, and then I believe that's all we obtained from them, except for some research notes which talked about this episode.
Right. From what you were investigating, right?
Yeah. That's pretty much.
Now, did you take the notes?
I printed out a copy from the computer.
Okay.
Yes, you did. And that's all the time we got for right now.
Come back for the next game.
Dragon Ball.
Anywho, I think that's pretty much the recap for everybody. So we'll just move right into it. I will start with Miss Lucia.
Alrighty then.
She has just finished. She's just finished getting her flares together, as the case may be. Getting her homebrew
Yes,
arsenal.
because she doesn't have a shotgun that pumps out fire.
So she is, I'm assuming, going to make her way towards.
Oh yeah, she was
The
already there.
purgatory?
Remember?
Yeah. I was gonna say I just got to refresh my memory. I'm assuming that.
Yeah,
that's
she
where we
walked
were.
in and then you're like, game over. I was like, what?
It makes me so mad.
But yeah, she had just walked in and then you ended it. Because now I have no idea what the scene looks like.
I think I told you a little bit, but anywho, as soon as you walk in, you can tell instantly this place is almost dead. Aside from a few hardcore band enthusiasts that are here for the last showing of Blessed Damnation.
Oh wait, I do remember. You had mentioned Blessed Damnation.
Lo and behold, yes. They had played that song which I had linked you to before.
The song, baby, the song.
Yes.
Do you guys need me to link you to the song again? Okay.
More than likely.
All right then. So that song just finishes playing, like it does,
Yes.
and of course, you know the last of the band members kind of go and they file down the spiral staircase that's underneath the caged area where they play. But Lucia has her mind on other things other than music. She's here to meet somebody.
And possibly fight, should it go down to it.
Okay, Lucia already knows where to meet Celine because she was the one who gave the specific directions, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Lucia goes and she approaches the private booth in which she had set aside for Celine to meet her in, and of course, after sliding the curtain open, there sits Celine, sitting down behind the booth. It's a circular sort of booth. You know, those cushiony ones, kind of like they have at Denny's.
Kinda. So is she sitting behind me, like, to my
No.
back?
No, she's sitting behind the table. Hold on, let me see if I can get a picture of this. Yeah, something like this.
Uh-huh.
Something like this.
It's got an image.
It's got an image that I do not want to see.
Picture. It's of a booth.
This guy.
Okay, so something like that. Something like that. She's sitting, directly back from where the curtain slides open. You see that in her hand she seems to be carrying a deck of tarot cards. She's shuffling them idly. She looks down at her wristwatch and she smiles. Right on time. I always did like that about you.
Lucia nods, choosing to wait to see what is going down first before she comments.
Celine's eyes go and they scan over Lucia, studying her a bit. Perhaps looking for injury, maybe not physical, but maybe emotional, even spiritual. With a crone, it's always hard to tell. She kind of coughed a bit as if clearing her throat, but mainly to break the silence. So then, have a seat. We have much to discuss.
Lucia is already sitting, isn't she?
Well, actually, you didn't say she was sitting. You just said she was standing there. She slid the curtain. I said she slid the curtain open, but she was still standing by the.
Oh, I thought Lucia arrived there first, and we were waiting for. Okay, never mind. I misunderstood.
Yes, it is your fault. You are a bad player. Minus 20 XP. I kid.
No, Lucia nods and slides in across from her, keeping a wary eye on her. Oh, and she's trying to make sure that the items that are hidden in her jacket remain hidden.
Don't flash your pieces.
Okay, how is she gonna do that?
Well, I'm gonna say that she has her arms in her jacket so she can keep it closed, and it looks like her arms are in her jacket instead of it hiding something. Does that make sense?
Okay, give me a composure plus stealth.
Composure plus stealth.
Yeah, just because you're trying to act cool and nonchalant about it, by the same time trying to keep them hidden. You're like, hey, never mind this AK-47
Would a hiding
sticking out of my
would a
pocket.
hiding specialty?
Specialty?
Yeah.
I'd like to imagine even better. It's like
Hold on. I got a better question. Instead, would activating obfuscate be even better?
Level 1? You have obviously a level 1, right? Or level 2.
I can turn objects visible.
If you want to, you could, but the only problem with obfuscate is I think you can only use it at one object at a time, and you kind of have a bundle there. Unless there is one specific group of items. What I'll let you do is choose a specific group, like say the flares or the stakes, and mask one of them. Okay, mask one of them, like pretty much right away, and the other you'll have to roll for.
So this is rolling to hide the flares.
So it's like you're sitting down and one of the flares goes off in your pocket, but you try to play it off. It's just burning away. What's up?
You're like, well, Lucy, I can see you absolutely flaming.
You see
3
what
successes.
under the collar.
That was not a good.
I bet you have a burning question.
3 successes.
Okay, nice. You managed to tuck them away out of sight and out of mind. Celine, of course. I don't think I've ever described how Celine looks, have I?
Never.
Okay, Celine is a tall African-American woman. Much taller than most people would expect. She's about maybe 5'7", close to 5'8". She wears a simple brown duster underneath a simple blouse. She also wears a silver pentagram underneath. Her hair is sort of long and curled as is natural for most African American women. It seems as though she tries to comb it back, but it just kind of poofs up to the top.
Yeah.
Her appearance isn't really something that seems to be on her mind, much as it is for her to investigate what she needs to investigate and get done what she needs to get done. That seems to be a sense of determination and a sense of iron will that carries through even to her external appearance. She stops shuffling the cards for a bit and she sets them down. Well, I can tell right away that you seem very wary and uncomfortable. And as I believe we've spoken earlier, you wished for a gesture of sorts, something for me to prove my lack of ill will.
Or at least free from her taint.
Well then tell me, child, what is it that I can do to prove this to you?
Lucia smiles for a moment. The only sure way is to share the same taint that I have by drawing from me. But I know our kind are less likely to do such things, for while a guaranteed maneuver to find out who my allies are, no one wants to be bound to another.
Well then, if it is what must be done, then so be it. But I must warn you. She kind of lifts an eyebrow quizzically, with a slight smirk on her face. Can you handle me?
Lucia gives that same predatory grin. I'm always capable of handling things.
Let us make this beneficial on both sides. She reaches down into her purse and she produces a silver chalice and she sets it on the table. She holds a finger out and it extends into a claw. She slices across her wrist. She leaks a decent amount of blood inside, easily a vitae's worth, and then the wound itself heals up. She slides it over halfway across the table.
Okay, out of character. Now,
Yes.
is this like, should Lucia add some of her own and then they both drink, or Lucia drinks first, adds hers, and then she drinks from it?
Well, typically, actually, you could go ahead and we'll do this in character. Maybe Lucia hasn't never
Yeah.
experienced this before.
All right.
Okay, go ahead and roll a intelligence plus occult, and vampire lore will
Come into
come
play.
into.
All right. And you said
Effect here.
intelligence plus occult?
Mhm.
All right, so, okay.
Yes.
In ancient vampire times, it was known as
2 successes.
bros kissing bros.
What you can tell from what you've learned in the past is this is an old, archaic crone ritual that, while it is one step towards Vinculum, it is of the merging of the two vitaes together keeps a full Vinculum from being present, while at the same time allows one to know the interpreter's true intentions. By the same token, it also allows a degree of safety on both ends as well.
Yeah.
For you're able to delve inside another person without being 100% attached to them,
Yeah.
knowing their true intentions, as
Yeah.
I've said
And
twice.
if that is the case, then Lucia will puncture her wrist as well and offer her own blood into the chalice.
Once Lucia emptied into the chalice, which subtracts
A blood
blood
point or vitae?
I'm sorry, a vitae. Vitae equals blood point from now on. Anywho, after emptying there into the chalice, Celine goes and she withdraws it and she kind of stirs the finger over. The blood itself seems to bubble and swirl a bit, almost heating like a very fine tea. She sets it back down. She slides it. Children first.
Lucia nods and keeps an eye on her and slowly sips from it.
Sneak attack! No.
I'm
joking, of course.
Yeah, she slowly
I
sips
assume
from it
Lucia
while
drinks.
watching her.
The moment that the vitae touches your lips, a strange rush and sensation flows through you. It's almost equivalent to having a predator taint, except almost subdued, almost contained, just because of the amount and the potency of the blood that you are ingesting. You get small glimpses of her memories, very small from what you would normally get should something to a diablerie take place. You see for the most part that she does have a very strong connection to Devon, but this connection is not something that would keep her from acting in a way
But she's
if she
not
needed
connected
to.
to Valentine. But okay, additional
No,
question.
she is
Since
not.
I know exactly what Valentine would feel like, can I just trace the actual blood
Mhm.
itself for any taint instead of the memories?
Mm, okay.
Just
Give me a
blood
blood
potency?
potency roll. Yes, because you're trying to
Alrighty.
basically filter through the
Let me-
blood.
Yeah, yeah.
As is how I see it.
No success.
What you can tell is she does have a blood bond, a soul pact of sorts with another, but it is not with
So
Valentine.
I can actually confirm it's not with Valentine, but she is bound to another, even though I got 0 successes. Okay, well, that's still information.
Yes. No, yeah, but you didn't
Oh,
get
yeah,
as
definitely.
specific as you could have gotten.
Lucia sets the chalice back down and gently pushes it towards her former sire. Not former sire, but mentor, as it were.
She goes and she scoops it up and she finishes off what's left. Celine closes her eyes for a minute, letting it filter in. She opens her eyes and then smiles. Well then, now that the formalities are out of the way, let us get down to business. She smiles. I trust this satisfies your
I did not
needs,
see
your
your
desires.
taint, her taint, among your lineage. I am satisfied for now.
Very well. Now then, what questions did you have before I ask my
Why
own?
all this time have you come looking for me at the exact moment of such a horrific turn of events?
Lucia, I have always kept my eye on you. From the moment that you were assigned into my care, just as your current child, although not from embrace, is assigned to you. It's a way of making sure you develop correctly. Because even though you may not be directly under me, you were assigned to me for a point, it would make me look bad if I allowed certain things to happen to you, especially certain things that you were not prepared for. This is not something you were prepared for, and perhaps I have failed you in that regard. Although I will admit it was quite a chore to track you down. There is an old Kruok ritual that allows the child to communicate with the sire over long distances. There is a variation that my mentor taught me that allows for the alternate to happen. I was not able to contact you via telepathy because of the fact that this bonding clouds that connection, overpowering it. So I had to do the next best thing. I had to look for you myself.
What do you want from me?
What do I want from you? She kind of asks. I don't always remember you being so ungrateful whenever I would show up to offer my guidance. It is no secret I am disappointed in your lifestyle choices as far as choosing a more, well, a less faith-centered route. But you are your own person and I cannot hold you.
If I come off as ungrateful, it is merely the side effect of having trusted and been burned.
As is rightfully so. To throw trust around to kindred is a
But you
terrible
dodged
thing.
my question.
One must truly prove themselves.
I asked, what
Oh?
did you want from me?
And as I was getting to, I'm here to help you. But I need you to trust me before I show you what you are about to see. I'm about to show you something that we, the kindred, are not meant to see.
You have none of Josephine's taint on you, as far as I can tell, so I can extend you this trust.
Celine extended her hand out across the table, palm open.
She does so
Place your
carefully.
hand in mine. As she goes and she does so, her thumb and her pinky finger wrap around the wrist. And she looks towards, her thumb and her pinky wrap around the wrist, while the remaining 3 fingers slide under the wrist of Lucia's. She looks to Lucia, expecting her to do the same.
Can Lucia identify what she's doing?
You can certainly roll.
Yay!
Intelligence plus occult vampire lore.
7 inches.
One success.
The only thing that Lucia can really tell from this, seeing as how she did not stay with the crone long, is that this is some form of Kruak ritual, a very ancient one.
All right. Warily, trying to keep her wits about her this entire time, she repeats as indicated.
Celine closes her eyes, and as soon as Celine closes her eyes open, and they flash a deep orange, and then a loud whoosh. Suddenly, Lucia feels lifeless, hanging there. She looks down, and she's still holding on to Celine. Celine holds her. Celine goes and she smiles. Whatever you do, don't let go of my hand, otherwise you'll be lost out here.
An astral projection?
A sort of, more like a gauntlet projection. You see, as kindred we exist in the material world, but there are many different realms outside of that. What I've learned from my studies, well, it's better to show you. She takes Lucia's hand, she grips it a little tighter, and she moves the body up, outside of the body. Outside of the building, into the storm that's going on around him. In the storm itself, you can see these angry, sort of savage spirits going lashing out, attacking people, or spirits of people. You also see these spirits of rage and anger go, and they inflict themselves into these creatures, enraging them, making people do things that they would not normally do. This is what you needed to see. And then we zip over to Mr. Trenton and Mr.
Indeed.
Charles.
Hey, city boy. What do you make of all that? The experiments, I mean.
What do I make of it, Mr. Maddox? I assume we're walking back up the rickety staircase up to the mausoleum.
Right.
I think it's an opportunity. It's that kind of mind whirling, and immediately pull out the phone. I'm going to try to contact Miss Red, Miss Scarlet, rather.
All right. You go ahead and you make the call. The phone rings once, twice, and then
Hello,
there's
Miss.
an answer.
Comrade,
Yes.
I have very important questions to ask you and very little time to achieve them.
As do I.
I need to know the
Quick,
whereabouts
make
and
your
current
case.
situation of Nikolai and Maxwell. The Nikolai and Maxwell, obviously, you know which ones I speak of?
Well, Nikolai's
Thanks.
actually somebody that me and Graves are tracking right now. Apparently he has something
Indeed.
more to do with this than we thought. I don't know what the whole situation is here with him, but somehow he's connected. As what my sources have found out, and thanks to your help, he was the one that instigated this whole thing, but he did not instigate it for his own means.
Quite.
He acted as part of another.
Where are you tracking him currently?
the subway.
Comrade, you know any particular subrat?
Well, it's one that's taken him from the heart of the city to the suburbs, which is it's a bit confusing. She says, "See, this subway line that we followed, it's not on any of the charts. It's almost as though it's a secret subway system."
Through the mountains. What of Maxwell? Do you know anything of him?
Maxwell has been detained.
Oh.
Yes. We have him right here. Isn't that right, Maxwell? She goes and you hear the sound of a swift kick against the body.
I see. Just out of curiosity, do you know where the police sergeant is? Police chief, rather.
You'd have to ask Graves that, not me.
All right.
Just then, suddenly, you hear a loud sort of roar. "No, Shen, what do you do? No. No, you be good. You not do that here." You hear a large sort of like an almost screaming, blinding sort of rage howl
the hell
come
was
from
that?
upstairs. "Shen, make me not hurt you. I know we
Trent
hurt you,
runs up.
comrade."
Okay.
To see what's going on.
Okay. Just then, as Trent goes and runs up the stairs, you look over and you see Oswald. He's there and he's holding Shen, holding him tightly, restrained. You see the young sort of Asian body kicking around, flailing. As he goes, "Do you not feel them? Screaming in pain. Their souls, they want freedom, but freedom is denied to them. Cast outside the great cycle." Ah! He sort of yells out almost by an
Trent
external
runs over
source.
to Shen and grabs onto his shoulders. And souls of who?
The wild ones. They are contained. Out of the cycle, the great cycle, lost. Not being allowed to live or die.
Charles, do you think he means the lupines downstairs?
You're gonna look over in that direction, still on the phone. "I know not, Mr. Maddox. Some superstition. Excuse me a moment." I step outside, out of the sounds, while he continues to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to continue with him or me? Do you want to continue with me or
I'm sorry,
Dominic?
I didn't hear you, Russell. I'll go ahead and continue with you for now,
Well,
until you get off the phone.
comrade, where's the entrance to the subway?
Well, it seems the entrance to the subway is leading us straight to the old Ravencrest Cemetery.
Well, halfway through this. I happen to be nearby. I say standing.
Mazel tov.
Please hurry then. I'll be hoping to see you along soon. I believe I'll try to have a conversation with Mr. Nikolai. Click. Hang up phone.
Okay. By the time as Mr. Charles walks away, you see Shen kind of go and he flails against Oswald for a bit, and then his body kind of hangs limp. Then for a minute his eyes sort of go and they flare open. A deep crimson burns inside of them. "You who have betrayed us. An alliance we sought with you, and betrayed us you have. Now restless we are, and vengeance we will bring to all." With an almost unnatural strength, even more so than by kindred standards, he is able to actually break out of the grasp that Oswald has on him. He flings Oswald's body down the stairs, almost knocking down Trenton, before he goes and he runs off, sort of howling and screaming into the night.
Does he run by me? I
Well,
assume
wait.
that we both come
Did you
out
go
of the
further up the
stairs.
stairs or further down the stairs?
Where was this happening?
Well, no, because this is happening right at the top where the
Indeed.
mausoleum is. You
But
guys
that
told
whole
him
scene
to
was
wait out
happening
there
on the
towards the
stairwell?
front.
Inside.
No, like above where the actual
Yes, yes.
mausoleum is. Remember?
I
Trenton was the one that ran up the stairs. I was under the impression that you kind of went around the corner in the underground segment to get away
I
from
suppose
the
then.
sounds
Yes.
of screaming.
Okay. Never mind then.
Okay.
He could not have passed me unless he was some sort of magician.
Okay.
Bibbidi boppity bacon.
Hey, boobity boobity. All right.
So what
Trent
does Trenton do as this happens?
follows back where Oswald was thrown and starts to help him up. You alright, Oswald?
I'm fine. Just surprised
What
how
is Shen?
little Shen gets so strong.
I mean, is he immortal?
Shen is Shen. What you mean? What Shen? No Shen kindred like you or me, but he's strange from different descent. Suppose different way of thinking. Some people say that culture play a big part in this. Me not know. He kind of gets back to his feet, dusts himself off, and then looks out towards where Shin ran. Scarlet gonna get mad at me.
Oswald, I say, kind of look over him. Did I give you the shotgun or Shin?
A
I
shotgun.
take the
Here,
shotgun and leave the
shotgun. He
mausoleum.
goes and he holds it out to you.
Scoot.
Charles, what'd you find out
You're
about
like,
Nick?
He's on the way, I believe.
Here?
Here. Apparently there's some sort of secret tunnel. Or at least so Miss Scarlet says. I want to trust her at the moment.
Where did she say where it would where the entrance is?
The cemetery, but nothing more specific than that. It's why I'd like to at least have some idea of where the entrance is now, as I continue to step outside.
Well, we need a game plan. What are we gonna do once we do find Nikolai?
As I said, I'd like to have a conversation with the boy.
Man,
Well,
he's really pissing off somebody.
Indeed.
Dun dun dun.
And wishing back over to Miss
Her husband
Lucia.
braided.
Lucia continues to hover there, sort of ethereal, if you will, with Celine hand in hand. You probably do not understand this. It probably seems almost alien towards you.
From the looks
Especially
of it,
given the way your
whether or
covenant
not what my
thinks.
covenant assumes, it would appear that whatever these creatures are influencing the behavior of those they infect.
Yes. Well, once more, she goes and she grips the hand a little tighter and she starts leading you down. And the travel seems very, very random. At times it seems like you're going slow. At other times you're speeding up, slowing, and speeding up. It's almost nauseating. And perhaps if Lucia still had a functioning stomach, she would be so inclined to upchuck. But she's able to keep her composure, although she is feeling a bit disoriented. Do you see that light? Celine goes and she points out, and you see there's a light that's growing
Is that where the Elysium
sort
was
of
in the
towards the
center
center
of the city? Yes, and I happen to know where
Yes.
it may be focused at.
She takes her a little closer. They both kind of go and they sit down on the... I guess I was gonna say virtual, but that's not the right word. The astral building next to where this light is originating from. You see, there's a very large tree that seems to be composed almost entirely of light. seems to be sprouting out. Towards the center of the tree, you actually
Familiar
see a
figure?
figure there inside. She looks very
Dun
familiar,
dun
yes.
dun.
It's none other than the matriarch herself.
Lucia smiles a little bit. So, she lives yet.
Partly. You see, the matriarch is, even though she looks young, she is very wise. She had since seen her end, so she took precautions against it. She's truly an outstanding
Indeed.
specimen, but we'll gush about that later. She was able to project herself out when she knew that the end was coming. If for no other reason than to give us a chance, her children a chance to
Would it be a
right
simple
the wrong that was
matter
set in
of
motion.
reuniting her body with the tree?
No, once the body has been separated, it's almost impossible to reunite it. What she's going to need is a new host. But before she can claim a new host, the storm clouds her from finding a way back. Now, I don't know much about the Lankia Sanctum's rituals and rites, whatever they call themselves. What I do know is this storm and these creatures, they are the ones that are harboring her from coming back, if you will. And according to my speculations and my study of my time with Miss Bella, she only has a 3-day period in which she can attempt reunification with a willing host.
Yeah.
And I believe this is
Lucia
the first
raises
day
an
down.
astral eyebrow.
Whoa.
This information you're passing on to me might be at risk. But to her,
At risk to who? Not me,
I
not you.
I carry Valentine's taint within me. As far as I am concerned, she can see through me and everything I do. By telling me this, you might be giving her the key to her victory.
Celine goes and she leans in with a smile. That's exactly what I'm counting on. She's not as clever as she thinks she is. And with that, suddenly, there's a large swish and a gush. And suddenly, Lucia is back in her body, as Celine is back in her body. Celine lets go of Lucia's wrist.
I see a
you see now?
situation that needs to be put under control.
Yes, but don't you understand this is directly tied to you
I
and
was
your
used as a
current
pawn in a
situation.
greater game of chess without my consent. If you think I will provide a willing host, you find yourself
As are we all.
gravely misjudging me.
Lucia, she says, pulling her arm back completely. I did not come here to free you from one form of servitude into another. That's not how I work, and I trust you should know that. It is not my urge or desire to wish you to give up your body at all. No. Rather, I propose a
I'm
trap.
listening.
If she can see through you and see what you see and hear what you hear, I assume it isn't a constant. It can't be done all the time, especially with that soul decomposing inside of you.
Then you would know
Yes,
how to
by the
combat
way, I
it.
know about that, she says with a smile. Yes, as I said, I'm very familiar with the way she works. Well, it's a long story. I can teach you a method to help filter her out, but you have to be willing to accept a certain degree of practice. For Lucia, this isn't about science, this is about faith at this point. It'll filter her out and keep her watching and listening static, if you will. She'll be trying to tune into the right frequency, but it'll keep filtering her
If
out.
it should be a matter
for a
of
time.
faith, then my faith and the ability of knowledge should be more than enough.
Well, maybe not a faith in knowledge. This has to be a faith from you yourself. It has to be a faith in the unknown. That's the only way this will work. I know it's very hard for you to do. I mean, that's one of the first things I noticed about you right away when you were put under my care. And we flash back to Charles.
All right.
Charles,
Right.
when okay, I forgot his name. Sorry. When Nikolai,
Shepard.
when Nikolai comes, you want to do the talking? I can
Nikolai.
hide. I can hide from a ways away. And keep an eye on the conversation. If things get out of hand,
That
I can
would be
open
fun.
fire.
But please first help me at least try to locate this entrance beforehand. I say, gazing out over the cemetery.
Well, I'm thinking, isn't he going to try to go, either come in or out of this mausoleum?
Possibly. I know not if he'll emerge from this very mausoleum. Did you spot another hidden entrance while we were in there and not mention it?
No, not quite. You want to check?
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Yes, you search around in there. I said, gesturing back to the mausoleum.
Well, yeah, I was going to
And
say, actually,
perhaps one of the.
nobody
I
really
assume there
looked
are other
around
mausoleums akin to this one about. I'm just going to take a glance around, like, their outside of buildings and look for any evidence of tubing
Yes,
or
yes, sir.
piping or weird sections of the ground that would suggest underground tunneling.
All right, Trent's heading back down the stairs.
1, 2, 3. Oh,
okay.
5.
Give me an intelligence plus academics roll.
Secret tunnel. Secret tunnel.
Oh, Lord.
Through the mountain.
It's a
One
great
success.
song.
It's a great song. One success.
Nothing really seems to strike out, aside from the fact that this cemetery is wildly unkept and seems to be very, very out of maintenance. It still strikes you as odd that the surface looks this way while underground is almost, completely redone.
Yeah. All right. And what about? Did Matters
Short
find
answer,
anything?
no.
Please. Is he? We
Yeah,
were the same.
I went down back into the laboratory to check for secret hatches or.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a resolve plus investigation, Mr. Trenton.
Yeah.
0.
Oh no.
You're actually going and you're looking around, and towards the very end of the wall there seems to be this looks like an elevator shaft.
Trent
You start inspecting
leaps
it, and then all of a sudden,
aside to
ding!
hide, like,
The door's
at
open.
the edge of the. So you can't see him when he's coming straight out.
I thought you looked into the rafters.
The door goes and it slides open. Ding!
Hey, Trent
Nobody
has
steps
arms
out,
his
but the doors
assault
stay
rifle for the ready. And then he
Okay. Just then the doors close, and you hear the sound of the elevator descending. Suddenly you sense a strange sensation over you. Yeah, sorry about that. A strange sensation over you. Very deep, very foreboding. The scent, the feeling of a strong predator in your midst, but
Show
yet one that
yourself.
you are unable to see, unable to locate. You feel almost helpless for a moment. Almost as though the wolf is
does Trent
circling
see
you, the
Johan?
prey. Yeah, you see Johan. He seems to be off. He's tending his own things.
Trent
He hasn't
says,
made
I know
recognition
you're in
or
here.
acknowledgement of what's going on. And do you, child?
Show yourself.
You hear a faint whisper. Okay, give me a wits plus composure.
That's a spot check. I use those a lot.
4 successes.
Okay. You go and whoom. Suddenly, before you stands a very refined form, that of Nikolai LeBlanc. You see him in his poofy shirt and his black suit, holding that silver-encrusted cane. She goes and he smirks. You wanted me, here I am. An
Trent,
almost
puts
deranged
his
and
rifle
wild
down.
look in his
I mean,
eyes, as he's
holsters
literally
it.
but inches from you. Very unwise.
Trent
He goes and he lunges in.
reaches
A hand going
reaches
and
for
wrapping
the
around
stake instead.
Trent's throat.
that he's carrying. One of.
You accidentally grab your Palm Pilot.
Okay,
It's a
go ahead.
trap.
Why did I say things?
You are gonna have to give me a dexterity plus. I guess athletics would be appropriate because you're trying to do this while you're basically being choked. Yeah, dexterity plus athletics. I guess that'll work.
2 successes.
Okay. You go and you reach down while you're being choked, and you go and you whip the stake out.
Yeah, what the hell? I'm gonna try.
And, you're gonna try to stake. Okay. Go ahead and give me the roll. That would be a strength plus weaponry.
Strength
Keep in mind you have to
plus
get a total of
weaponry.
3 successes.
Oh, I'm gonna spend a willpower.
Yes.
That
Stake.
adds to
So-
the roll.
Okay.
And you click the use willpower box.
Oh, that's right.
That should add 3 dice to the roll, yes.
3 successes.
Nice. Okay. You go and you extend the stake and it penetrates deep into him. His eyes kind of widen and he's like, no, so obvious. And then he goes and he starts laughing. He goes and he opens he pulls the blouse open that he has.
Heartless.
You can't stake what isn't there, son.
You heartless bastard.
An old secret that the Dracul taught me. Displacement of vital organs for such a situation. He goes and he grasps and whoom flings Trenton across the room. Go ahead and give me a. Go ahead and give me a stamina roll.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now. 2 successes.
Bam! You go and you kind of hit the back of the wall with a loud boom and a crunch, and the concrete behind you is actually kind of caved in a bit. By this time, it's gotten Johan's attention. He goes, Master, what is going on? These are not your friends. Yes, quiet, you ignorant whelp.
1, 2, 3.
By this time, Charles can give me a wits plus composure roll.
Ooh, look, something shiny.
Botch. He gets a botch. What's that way over there on the other end of the cemetery?
It's candy. Oh shit, me will. 1
Ooh, piece of
success.
candy.
Ooh, candy. 1 success.
While Charles is surveying the area on the top, he suddenly hears a loud ka-dung, the sound of a body being slammed against something hard, and then a slight.
Alright, I'm going to rush. As I'm going to check the rounds of the gun, the shotgun. How many do I have again? Like 5, 6.
I think
All
you
right,
had
it's a half
6
left 2
because
shotgun.
basically it's a semi-automatic shotgun. It has
I assume
basically one in each
so
barrel
can
and
I
then
get
4
below
more
before
in
any other
the
actions
chamber.
happen?
Yes. I'm gonna say you'll
Okay.
get right down there, because you'll do a full-out run, so you'll get there this
Well, then
turn,
I'll arrive at the base of the stairs and view all this.
but you won't be able to do any actions once you get there. While this is going on, Nikolai goes and he turns his attention back to Trenton's body that's kind of slumped over. He steps over slowly, walking towards him.
Trent's not going
Who
to
sent
speak.
you?
But
Was
he's
it that
going
bitch Graves?
to change it to Protean.
Okay, what's he gonna use?
Isn't there only one shape? So, you know.
Well, no. Well, I mean, what level
Right.
are you
Oh, 3 to the change in shape, or to gain the claws.
using? Okay, yeah, that's what I wanted to know. Okay, so basically you're just spend a point of Vitae, draw your claws out.
Tickling.
Oh no, sorry. Yeah, he's gonna try to fight him. So he's gonna try to attack at his throat.
Okay, go ahead and give me a. I'll say you're close enough. You don't have to spend an action to run towards him. I'll say a strength plus brawl, and a claw maneuver will actually give you a +1 to that roll.
2 successes.
You go and you slash into LeBlanc, furiously scratching at his throat. He goes and he tries to lean back a bit, but you manage to tear out a big chunk of him.
Damage.
He coughs and gags for a bit as he reaches a hand out to cover the wound. To cover up the wound as he attempts to
Just
use his
scratch the
Vitae to
surface.
heal it.
Oh my
He's like,
god.
oh, we to the
LeBlanc
point,
would
aren't
fit
we?
so well with the pun masters over here.
Yes! This one's quite catty. It's got some claws on him.
Ah, it seems
Thank you
we've
for
scratched
helping me
the
clear
surface
my
of this little
throat.
debate.
God. Back off, Nikolai. That's what Trent says to him.
You see him go and he extends his cane and it actually breaks away into a sword cane. Shink. He holds the sheath out in a defensive stance and he holds the cane, the actual blade part above his head, and he goes and he slashes out down towards
hit?
Trenton's kneecaps.
Oh.
It'll ruin your ballet career if he hits you.
God.
Oh no.
And is
gonna
resilience
tell you.
passive? I have 1 dot.
Yes, it
Oh
is.
my God.
That's gonna be 3 points of
My
lethal
God.
damage, and it does
Look at the
hit.
stars.
3 points of lethal.
I'll hurt those.
And Trent yells out.
The
He
stars
howls
have
out
aligned.
pain.
Yeah.
All right then. By this time, it is now.
Snort angrily, and yet again, more violence.
All right,
This is more than a violence based
Charles's
paycheck.
action.
He's going to fire one of the explosive or fiery rounds directly at the feet of LeBlanc. Not enough to hit him, but just enough so that he will certainly hear and perhaps feel the flames. And then basically scream at him. I don't know if I have to say, I'm going to wait for his response to see if he notices or gives a shit about the fire. So just fire off a round directly at his feet. So that explosion. So I don't hit his feet.
Mm-hmm.
2 successes. That's better.
Hunk.
As soon as he
Goes and
looks me in
shoots
the eyes,
out
I'm
and
going to LeBlanc,
LeBlanc goes and
abstain
he
and
jumps
listen
back
to
and
us. I
his
say,
gaze immediately
pushing
turning towards the
everything I
direction
have
of where
from
the
my
flames
dominate
came
ability.
from.
I want to make him stop for a moment in this fighting. Oh, does it only work on those of lower blood potency?
I'm gonna have to tell
I-
you it would have no effect on him.
I had no
only because of
idea.
the fact that he has a higher blood potency than you.
Now I know.
Yes, only mortals and those of lower blood potency. That's okay. Now you do. But you know what? It'd be a perfectly
Bitches be
character thing to
dominating.
do. You know, that is
Okay.
Charles's default.
Well, then I'll still
I guess.
say that.
I guess reaction. You know.
Yet again.
No, yeah, you can still say that, and you certainly have his attention. You've caused him to pause, if only for a second. Actually, by
I'm
this
sorry.
point, Trenton, give me a stamina roll because you are on fire as well.
It was an upshot. My bad.
Yeah, you shot by his feet, and remember, I said you guys are within striking range, so.
You said stamina.
I'll send you a gift basket.
Well, you specifically said shooting towards the feet, and I said okay.
Jesus.
Perf-a-derf. Yes.
Am I gonna have to make some sort of roll for like a frenzy or something as well?
Rothser, the German.
Jesus Christ!
Is it called Roths?
Zero successes on the stamina roll.
I have.
In a minute, yes. Well, we'll do that in just a second. But, boom. Okay. So that means you are taking. Refresh.
Yes.
2 points of aggravated damage.
I'll do that.
If you have resilience, I think you have resilience of 1, right? You can downgrade one of those to lethal. The other is going to be ag. Okay. And with that, we'll have to take a short break.